Hi, I'm Mark Richman. I am the District Wildlife Manager for the north half of Unit 62 and the west half of Unit 411. 62 is the most popular archery unit in the state. So please keep that in mind when you're coming out here. Much of 62 is very popular partly because of the quality access. There's a lot of access. There's a road down nearly every mesa top, and with that, that also pushes game around quite a bit. That pushes game, primarily the elk, down into the bottoms of canyons off the accessible mesas and over into 61 primarily. So please keep that in mind. So these are pretty educated elk. The other question I get a lot of questions about is access to Kelso Mesa, which is the one landlocked public land area that does not have roads along the tops of the mesas. There is private land that restricts access to it along a road, so you have to find an unmarked trail. It's not an official Forest Service trail that would come off of a long point. Typically would be the most popular way to access Kelso Mesa. In addition to that, on the north half of Unit 62, the deer population is fairly low density. People do like the northern reaches along the Dominguez drainages. Very few people hunt into the wilderness. If you do go into the Dominguez Canyons wilderness area, stick to the mesa tops. At the bottoms of those canyons where the trails are coming out of Bridgeport has very, very few mule deer in there. That's primarily desert bighorn sheep habitat. For Unit 411, I have the west half of 411. The popular areas to go to get into elk there is along the shelf, what we call the Doe Spoon reservoirs. It's a series of reservoirs from right below the top of Grand Mesa, below Flowing Park Reservoir. There's a series of reservoirs called Doe Spoon, Delta, Duggar, Pitcairn, Morris Reservoir, and Porter 1 and Porter 4 reservoirs. It's a flat area with quite a bit of aspen cover in there that does hold some elk throughout the seasons. Those elk can get pressured off the top of there, and access is very difficult to get in there. It is primarily an ATV area. I would not recommend taking a full-size truck up those roads. It can be done, but I would not recommend it. When those elk are pressured off the top, they do come down to some private hay fields on the bottom of those drainages, and they can be accessed as those elk move back and forth out of those private lands in the pinyon juniper country around there. In the later seasons, third, fourth season, there can be some elk found near the radio towers along the Delta Mesa County line, excuse me. And there's some rough roads getting up and around there to those radio towers. So it can be a difficult hunt, but they are accessible in that portion of the desert. For bears in Unit 62, we do have quite a few good solid options, especially early on during the rifle bear seasons. There are numerous drainages where there are good view sheds overlooking ponds and overlooking small meadows within like the Cottonwood drainage and a few of the drainages to the north of there, such as the East Fork of Escalante and into the Middle Fork of Escalante, as well as the North Fork of Escalante. So all of those are good solid options for getting into bears in various canyons that have good vantage points for glassing bears. It really is a quality option for minimal preference points for a good quality bear hunt. And 62 has one of the higher bear harvests of any unit in the state. In regards to deer in Unit 411, deer can be found all throughout Unit 411. Obviously, there's quite a few as you get closer to Cedar Edge, but in terms of public land deer hunting, I would recommend you stick to that oak zone just below the top shelf of where the Doe Spoon reservoirs are, and all the way through towards the Porters along Oak Creek and George Creek.